train into the city the next morning is almost silent. No one wants to talk about what happened in the burrows last night. Those who gave up their artifacts are harshed with the laws. Those who never had any to begin with are quiet out of respect. Or perhaps out of satisfaction, because now everything has been equalized. Before he gets off at his stop for swimming, Xander leans over and kisses me on the cheek and softly says, "Under the new roses in front of Kai's house." He steps off the air train and disappears with the other students while I ride towards the atrium. Question crowded my mind. How did Xander hide the artifact in front of the Markham's flower bed unseen? Does he know it belonged to Kai? Or is it a coincidence that he picked the Markingham's house as the hiding place? Does he know what I am starting to feel for Kai? Whatever Xander knows or guesses, one thing is certain. He couldn't have picked a better hiding place. We're all charging to keep our yards neat and clean. If Kai digs in his own yard, no one will suspect anything. I just have to tell him where to look. Like everyone else, Kai stares out the window as we glide towards the atrium. Did he see Xander's kiss? Did he care? He does not meet my eyes. We're pairing off for the next round of hiking, the officer says once we reach the bottom of the hill. You are each partnered with another hiker according to your ability assessed by analyzing the data I collected from the earlier hikes. That means Kai's paired with Cassia, Libby with Tay, Libby's face falls, and I try to keep mine expressionless. The officer finishes reading his list. If you have a different goal on the hill, he says, you won't ever see the top here. The society has asked us to use our hiking time to mark obstacles on the hill. He gestures to a bag piled next to him. They hold strips of red cloth. Every pair take a bag, tie in the markers on branches near the fallen tree, in front of particularly bad thickness, etc. Later, the survey crew will come through. They are going to clear the pit and pave a path on the hill. They're going to pave the hill? At least grandfather doesn't have to see it. What if we run out of cloths? Loin whines. They haven't cleared the hill in many years. There'll be obstacles everywhere. We might as well mark every tree we see. If you run out of cloths, use rocks to make cranes, the officer says, and he turns to Kai. Do you know how to make a crane? There is the briefest bit of hesitation before Kai answers, yes. Show them. He gathers a few rocks from the ground around us and stacks them, largest first in a small pile. His hands are quick and sure, the way they were when he teaches me to write. The tower looks precipitous, but it does not fall. See, it's simple, said the officer. I'll blow my whistle. Later that means you need to start making your way back. You blow your whistle if you get lost. He gives us each a standard issue metal whistle. It shouldn't be hard. Just head back down the mountain the way you came. The officer's thinly veiled disgust for us used to amuse me. Today, I understand it. I feel disgust when I think of how we climb our little hills when the officials say that word. How we hand over our most precious items at their bidding. How we never ever fight. We are barely out of view of the others when Kai turns to me. I turn to him for a moment. I think he's going to touch me. I sense more than I see. His hand moves slightly and then drop back down. I feel a disappointment deeper than the disappointment I felt this morning when I opened my closet and didn't see the compact resting there. Are you alright? He asked. Last night when they searched the houses, I didn't know until after I came home. I'm fine. My artifact? Is that all he cares about? I whisper fiercely. It's in your flower bed, buried under the new roses. Dig it up, and then you'll have it back. I don't care about the artifact, he says, although he still does not touch me. I'm warmed by the fire in his eyes. I couldn't sleep all night worrying that I'd gotten you in trouble. I care about you. Those words are quite quiet here under the trees, but they sing loudly in my heart, louder than the 100 songs curled all at once. And his eyes are shadowed underneath from thinking of me. I want to reach up to touch that skin under his eyes, the one place I've seen any vulnerability in him, make him feel better, and then I could run my fingers there, across his cheekbones, down to his lips, the place where his jaw meets his neck, where his neck meets his shoulder line, like the place where one part meets another, I think, eyes to cheek, to wrist, to hand. Somewhat shocked at my own thoughts, I take a step back. How did you... Someone help me. Xander, he says. How did he know, Xander? I agree. Neither of us speak for a moment. I stand back, seeing him whole. He turns and begins to walk through the trees again. It is slow going. Underbrush grows so tangled here that it's more of a climb than a hike. Trees that fell have not been cleared away and lie like giant bones across the forest floor. Yesterday, I have to ask, as non-consequential as a question now seems. You were teaching Livy how to write. Kai stops again, and he looks at me. His eyes seem almost green underneath the canopy of trees. Of course not, he says. She wanted to know what we were doing. She saw us writing, and we weren't careful enough. I feel stupid and relieved. Oh. I told her I'd been showing you how to draw the trees. He picked up the stick next to me and started moving it around to make a pattern that does look remarkably like leaves. Then he placed the stick down as the trunk of the trees. I keep looking at his hands after he has finished, not sure what else to do. No one draws once they're out of first school. I know, he says, but at least it's not explicitly forbidden. I reach into the bag and carry a piece of red cloth and tie it on a fallen tree near Kai. I keep my eyes down, looking at my fingers as they twist the fabric into a knot. I'm sorry about the way I acted yesterday. When I straightened up, Kai had already moved on. Don't be, he says, pulling a tangle of climbing green vines away from a shrub so that we can pass through. He throws the vines at me, and I catch them in surprise. It's good to see you jealous once in a while, he says. He smiles in the sun, and the sun in the woods. I try not to smile in return. Who said I was jealous? No one, he says. I could tell. I've been watching people for a long time. Why did you let me hold onto it anyways? I ask him. In case with the arrow is beautiful, but I wasn't sure. No one but my parents knows I have it, he says. When Em gave me the compact to give back to you, I noticed how much alike they were, and I wanted you to see it. His voice sounded lonely all of a sudden. I can almost hear another sentence, the one that instinct still keeps him from saying. I wanted you to see me, because isn't that what it's all about? The golden case with arrow, the bits of story offered here and there. Kai wants someone to see him. He wants me to see him. My hands ache to reach for him, but I can't bring myself to betray Xander in the way after everything he has done. After he saved both of us, Kai and me, just last night. But there is something I can't continue to give Kai, and that is purely mine. That doesn't belong to Xander, the poem. I only mean to tell him a few more lines, but once I start telling him, it's hard to hold back. I say the whole thing, the words go together. Some things that are created to be together. The words aren't peaceful, Kai says. I know. Then why do they make me feel calm? Kai asks in wonder. I don't understand. In silence, we push our way through the undergrowth, the poem heavy in our minds. Finally, I know what it is I want to say. I think it's because when we hear it, we know we're not the only ones who have ever felt this way. Tell it to me again, Kai asks softly. His breath catches his voice and is husky. All the rest of the time, until we hear the officer's whistle, we move up the hill repeating the poem back to each other, like a song that just the two of us know. Before we leave the forest, Kai finishes teaching me to write my name in the soft dirt underneath the fallen tree. We crouch down, red cloths in our hands, acting as though we are trying to tie them on in case anyone comes by and sees us. It takes me a while to learn the S, but like the way it looks, it's something learning into the wind. The clean line and the dot of an I that's easy to master, and I already know how to write an A. I write each letter of my name and connect them together, Kai's hand near mine to guide me. We don't quite touch, but I feel the warmth of his hand, the length of his body, crouched behind mine as we write Cassia. My name, I say, leaning back and look at the letters. They are wavy, sure less than the letters Kai writes. Someone passing by might not even recognize mine as a letter at all. Still, I can tell what they say. What's next? Now, says Kai, we go back to the beginning. You know A, tomorrow we'll do B. Once you know them all, you can write your own poems. But who would read them? I ask, laughing. I would, he says. He gives me another forbidden folded napkin there. Between greasy thumbprints and traces of food is more of Kai for me to see. I put the napkin in my pocket and think of Kai writing out his stories on the red hands, searching for the heat of the job he does. I think of him risking everything each time he slips one napkin into his pocket. All these years he's been so careful, but now he's willing to take the chance because he's found someone who wants to know, someone he wants to tell. Thank you, I say, for teaching me how to write. Thank you, he answers. There is a light in his eyes, and I am the one person who puts it there. For saving my artifact and for the poem. There are more to say, but we are learning to speak together. We step out of the trees, not touching, not yet.